So I'll start the recording. Okay. So, hello everyone. Thank you for coming. So today's lecture is of our Kazakh colleague Yefremov about from Al-Farabi Kazakh University, and you can close it. From Al-Farabi Kazakh University, and he's going to present today about ethnic Koreans in Kazakhstan, which is a topic we met in history classes, of course, and society classes, but he will tell you much more than we ever had the time for. So yeah, this setting is okay? Yes, okay, everything is okay. Everybody, hello. First of all, I want to appreciate you for sharing your time with me, and I hope you wouldn't be disappointed and you will learn something new for yourself, and this would help you to maybe in the future to decide what do you want to study further. So let me introduce myself. As you can see, my name is Yefremov, and I came from Kazakhstan, Al-Farabi Kazakh National University. And as you can see from the topic of my presentation, wow, even microphone. Yeah, as you can see from the topic of my presentation is devoted to the ethnic Koreans residing in Kazakhstan, and to be more precise, the diasporic identity issue is the topic of my research. So since I will tell you today about the diasporic issue of ethnic Koreans, the phenomenon of diasporic issue, the features of diasporic issue of the ethnic Koreans in Kazakhstan, I would like to start with the definition of diaspora. What does it mean, diaspora? So when we say diaspora, a few questions come into our mind, but precisely when we think about diaspora, we think the first which comes to our mind is a Jewish, maybe you know Jewish diaspora, maybe you know Armenian diaspora, maybe you know Greek diaspora. So but recently the diaspora studies is becoming increasingly popular all over the world. So when we say diaspora, a lot of things such as migration, minority existence, ethnic and national affiliation arise. So which question comes to our yes, which questions come to our mind when we say word diaspora? So how do diaspora communities come into existence? How do they appear? So the next one, how can we distinguish the diasporas from other smaller communities, such as immigrant communities or another communities formed by ethnical, national, or some religious basis? What is the relationship between the diaspora, the host country, and the homeland or kin state, if there is such thing? How has the semantic content of the concept has changed? What did it mean before in past, and what does it mean now, currently? And why has it became so popular? So to speak about word diaspora, it has a Greek origin, that means dispersion, but to Greece it has come from Jewish word gola or galut. Two words mean exile, and consequently the dispersion occurred by this exile. So although the diaspora has been used for Jewish diaspora in the beginning of its history, now it is widely used for Armenian, Greek, African, Irish diasporas, and in case of my presentation, it is used to Korean diaspora all over the world, and particularly Korean diaspora in Kazakhstan. But like every term in social sciences,
the term diaspora definition is also very debatable, because some scholars have made a various explanation about this term and thought that it should be added a lot of features, but some of them, opposite to them, think that it should be very limited to define the phenomenon of diaspora. So the first part of my presentation is dedicated to the phenomenon of diaspora. So I tried to collect some definitions to help you to understand what is diaspora. So diaspora studies, it is a relatively young study. So it began its history in the middle of last century, and especially in America, in the USA, in the 60s and 70s of the 20th century. So American scientist Walker Connor thought very simply in the beginning about the diaspora, and he defined that diaspora is a segment of a people, any segment of a people living outside their homeland. But later he has complemented two additional factors to his previous definition. One is factor of the degree of loyalty felt toward the adopted host nation as opposite to the ancestral homeland. And the second is the extent of assimilation. This factor helps him to distinguish between diaspora communities and other smaller communities like immigrant communities. So later in 1990s, William Safran, also American philosopher and scientist, has defined 6 basic characteristics of diaspora. So the first one, there should be a dispersal from homeland. It could be real homeland, or it could be kind of imagined homeland. So the second one, the people of diaspora, the member of diaspora has a collective memory about their homeland, wherever it's real or imagined. The third one, there should be a belief that the members of diaspora are always outrageous in the host country, or another word, they feeling an elimination. So they are opposing themselves to the hoster communities, to the host countries people. And fourth one, the members of return foster a hope. The members of the diaspora foster the hopes of return. So they are always willing to return to their homeland. The fifth one, the members of the society of the diaspora community are always should be committed to the maintenance of the restoration of the homeland, and should be they should have the commitment for the prosperity of homeland. And the last one, according to William Safran, there should be individual or joint contacts with the reminders, I mean, with the members of friends and other co-ethnics back into the homeland. Robin Cohen, he agrees with Safran in general, but he made 3 complementation to Safran definition. According to him, there is not only victim forced diasporas, there should be also labor diasporas, trade diasporas, and imperial diasporas. So it means there is a voluntary expansion of religions and ethnic group of people. So the second one, there must be an institutionalization for return of movement. So there should be kind of social institutes in diaspora society, in diaspora organization. And the third one, the diaspora have a distinct creative goods and values in the host community. So the member of diaspora are creative and they should create some my scientific advisor is also watching me. It makes me a bit confusing. Diaspora have distinct creative goods and values like literature, art works, music works, etc., etc. Rogers Brubaker, he tried to simplify the definition of diaspora. So he defined three main constitutive elements of diaspora. The first is the dispersion in space. This is today the most widely accepted criterion. So this is the most straightforward. Nobody can deny that there is no dispersion in space in terms of diaspora. The second is the orientation to a real or imagined homeland. So for the members of diaspora, the homeland is a kind of authoritative source of value, identity, and loyalty. As you can see in the previous slide, William Safran's 6 basic characteristics are containing 4 characteristics regarding homeland. So number 2, they have memory about homeland. Number 4, there are hopes about returning to homeland. And 5th, maintains of restoration the homeland's prosperity. And 6, the contacts with the homeland. But recently, some discussions, they emphasize the homeland orientation, because diaspora, in fact, does not necessarily mean that the member of diaspora do want to return to their homeland. For instance, African diaspora in USA, they do not intend to return to Africa, or Jewish diaspora in USA or in Europe, they do not have strong will to return to the Israel. So for them, it's a lifestyle to be outside of Israel. Maybe you know there is a big diaspora of Jewish, the Hasidim in the USA, and they are admitting that they living in the USA is a kind of exile. So for them, exile is a style of life. Next. And the third one is the boundary maintenance. The boundary maintenance is kind of tool to preserve a distinctive identity vis-a-vis a host society. So, as I have said before, the members of diaspora always states them opposite to the host community, host society. So it helps him to, this boundary maintenance helps to protect their identity, helps to protect their distinctiveness, and it link member of the diaspora in different states into a single transnational community, international diaspora. What is diaspora? There are a lot of other features which are indispensable to diaspora, and so, for example, there should be a collective national, cultural, or religious identity among the members of diaspora. The diaspora should have an ability to address the collective interests of members of diaspora through various types of institutions. And of course, there should be importance of the factor of past. So because it is determining factor to present of diaspora members. Simply saying, for diaspora, the past is widely seen as a define their present, as may as them trace their dispersions and sense of collective identity. Part 2. The second part of my presentation is tackling the term of diasporic identity. So What is diasporic identity? It's a feature of diaspora. So according to Stuart Hall, diasporic identity is always constructed through memory, fantasy, narrative, and myth. And he complements that identities are about question of using the resources of history, language, and culture in the process of becoming rather than being. So I highlighted the phrase process of becoming because if identity relates the process of becoming, so I assume that the diaspora is a kind of process of becoming rather than some kind of existence. So to diaspora, it is not important who we are or where we came from. For diaspora, it's much more important what we might become, how we have been represented now. So according to Stuart Hall, diasporic identities are constantly producing and reproducing themselves anew and anew and anew through transformation and difference. So the diaspora experience is defined by a conception of identity, which is living through and with the difference, but not despite. So Robin Cohen also tried to make a definitions of characteristics of diaspora, and for him, the existence of diasporic consciousness or diasporic identity as a common feature is diaspora helps to diaspora. It's a strong ethnic group consciousness sustained over a long time and based on a sense of distinctiveness. So for him, one of the most important factors to build diasporic identity is having a cultural and religious heritage, of course, and to have a belief in the common faith. So regarding the common faith, I would like, common faith. Regarding the common faith, I would like to speak to tell you about some conclusions which one German scientist named Ruth Wittlinger made regarding the German diaspora. He has researched, he has studied German diaspora, especially in the former Soviet Union, and he came to the conclusion that victimhood became an important part of diasporic identity construction, mainly especially during the 20th century. So those, I believe, the same fate of victim has affected on the formation of diasporic identity of Koreans in Central Asia. Probably, I hope you have heard about Stalin's political repressions in the beginning of 20th century. It also is calling political cleansing, while a lot of minority has been forced to move from their homeland, especially to Central Asia or somewhere in Siberia, in the middle of Russia. So there is some additional definitions of diasporic identities, and they are telling us that identity is not fixed, as Werner said. So Abramson advocates his definition and said that diasporic identity is a fluid rather than fixed. And Hachik Tololian and Kovakyan also made a definition. According to them, diasporic belonging involves continuous construction of identity. So continuous means not fixed, so it is continuous in process, in time and in space. So diasporic identity is kind of process rather than fixed phenomenon. So I guess, and I hope everyone is understanding me well. Yes. Yeah. And just to make a kind short conclusion to this part number 1 and part number of diasporic identity. How do you think? Is there anybody who has opinion regarding this topic? Yeah, I have explained about the phenomenon of diasporic identity. Yes, I said that diasporic identity helps diaspora to be constructed, etc., etc., etc. So I would like to ask you, what is, according to your opinion, what are or is, according to your opinion, the main features, the roles, the function of diasporic identity in terms of diaspora?
Okay, so regarding the features, it would be a group of people somehow alienated from their homeland to a different space.
Yeah.
Regarding the features, there would be the common fate, and some collective like consciousness of their homeland.
Yeah.
And
It's okay. Sometimes it happens.
But regarding another important point is that it's constantly changing and evolving into something different, and it doesn't just stay constant.
Yeah. It's always under affection of environmental.
Yes.
And political or social or etc., etc. For example, as far as I know, in Czechia, there is a great and a long history of Jewish diaspora. So there are a lot of historical, how should I say, heritage. Yeah, around us for synagogues and etc., etc. So maybe there is a Jewish. I'm a half Jewish. Yeah, maybe there is a Jew around us, and what can help Jews to maintain, to protect them from outside world. So for me, diaspora is kind of shield. So to protect diasporic identity is kind of shield. Yes, to protect diaspora from assimilation. Yeah, from acculturation. If, for example, if Jews come to, if there is a Jewish community, but they do not keep their traditions, customs, they do not follow the religious, they will be assimilated, acculturated to the hosted community, and there will be no diaspora. Okay, there will be a lot of Jews, but they are not a community. There is no a kind of link that connected them together. So the diasporic identity, it's a kind of shield to protect the members of diaspora and diaspora community itself from assimilation, from acculturation. It means from the influence from outside, yes. And the second, according my opinion, it helps to preserve and to maintain the ethnic culture and certain subnational identities. But regarding the Jews, there is a belief that Jews are not ethnic group. It's a rather religious group. Yeah, because there are, just to be honest, there are black Jews, there are yellow Jews. Yeah, and all of them are Jews. They're accepted by Israel, but they have different blood in their veins. So for them, for Jews especially, ethnic factor does not matter. Yeah. So let's go to the conclusion of part number 2. So according to German Kim, it is not diaspora that gives birth to diasporic consciousness, other word, diasporic identity, but on the contrary, and I believe that diasporic consciousness appears firstly, and after it gather people around itself, and it build the diasporic community. So what does have diasporas as their features? They have a kind of distinctiveness of historical destiny, fate. Yes. And of course, they have similarities and differences with the parent ethnos, with the motherland, and they try to keep support communication channels with the kin state, with the homeland. And of course, they are striving, they are challenging for intra-diasporic consolidation. They are trying to be together, Jews with Jews, Koreans with Koreans. You can see, especially in the USA, there are a lot of Korean towns, China towns, Jewish settlements, let's say this. But simultaneously with this, they are keeping their inter-ethnic integration in the host country. They are not living totally separated from host country. So, okay, let's move further. I guess since you're students of Korean Korean studies chair, you can read Korean. Yeah, but it wouldn't help you. This time, all presentation is in English. Just few words. As you know, Koreans in Korea are called themselves Hanguk Saram or Hanin, and Koreans in North Korea, DPRK, calls them Choson Saram. Koreans in Central Asia and in Russia calls them Koryo Saram. There is other history. I will not tackle this history this time, but Koryo Saram, if you hear Koryo Saram or Koryo-in, it means you are hearing about Korean from CIS. Yeah, and my presentation is devoted to the Koryo Sarams, Koreans in Kazakhstan. So Kazakhstan has not so much population. It's around 20 million or much or more, and around 100,000 of them are Koreans. So besides Koreans, there are a lot of Russians, Ukrainians, Chechens, Armenians, Georgians. So Kazakhstan is kind of multi-ethnical, multi-religious, multicultural country, and the indigenous people are only around 70 or 80%. Another 20 or 30% are consisting of minorities. So, yeah. Korean history of Koreans in, let's say, in Russia. In Russia began in 1860s. So they moved from Choson to Far East because of some internal problems. Simultaneously, they moved from North Korea. Let's say North Korea, recently it's North Korea. They moved from the territory of modern North Korea to Russia, Far East, and to China, Yanbian province. So they used to live in Russia since 1816s till the beginning of 20th year. And you know, in the beginning of 20th year, there was a Red Revolution, Communist Revolution, and new country, new state has been established in the territory of Russia and present Central Asia. There is no pointer. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah. This is the territory. I don't see it well. Yeah. This is the territory of Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. It's a two representative republics where the Korean has been forcibly moved during the 1936. So going back to the past, by 1936, it was around 170,000 Koreans lived in the Russian Far East before deportation, here, somewhere here. But despite this, on August 21st, Joseph Stalin signed a resolution named the Exile of Korean Population from Border Territories of the Far East region. So according to this resolution, the immediate forced relocation of all minorities of Korean ethnicity has started to Central Asia. There was two host republics where the Koreans moved to. One is Kazakhstan and another one is Uzbekistan. So regarding the Central Asia, there are two big countries with a huge community of Koreans. So for Koreans, it was kind of losing their homeland. So this built the memory of suffering from the deportation of Koreans. So this formed one of the important factors of memory and the basis of Korean diaspora consciousness in Kazakhstan, particularly, and which undoubtedly influences the formation of diasporic identity. Yeah.
Is there like a reason they didn't deport them back to Korea, but moved them across this whole region to Kazakhstan or Central Asia? Is there like, did Russia want to keep the minority in the Soviet Union?
There are belief, first belief. Why? Maybe you know the, let's call it occupation. Yes, Japan occupation of Korea at that time forced to think Stalin that Koreans are a part of Japanese. They looks alike, they speak some strange language for Stalin. Yeah, so he thought they are, in case of war, he thought that all Koreans would join the Japanese army, simply saying, and otherwise all of them are spies. This is the first factor which forced him to took this decision. And the second one, these territories in the beginning of 20th century, there was a kind of collectivization. So maybe you heard about this phenomenon, maybe not, but the Soviet Union's government decided to took every welfare from rich people and to disperse among other ones. So in Kazakhstan, there was a lot of people who has big herds of animals. So around 1,000 or more heads of cows and camels. In Uzbekistan, the same. But during the collectivization, they began starving. people began to starve and to die. So a lot of people have died in that period. So it began very empty territory. So Stalin decided to fulfill the territory with other minorities. So not only Koreans were forced to move that time. A lot of there is a Volga River. Yeah, a lot of Germans were used to live on the Volga banks in Russian Federation before Red Revolution, before the revolution of Red Army. It has been moved to Kazakhstan and Uzbekistan. So it was a kind of trick to fulfill the empty territories for Stalin. This is my opinion. Yeah. In Uzbekistan, there are a lot of settlements, and in Kazakhstan, it was the main settlement called Ushtobe. This is, do you see it well? I hope, yeah. Called Ushtobe, which has hosted the Koreans. It was cold winter, and Koreans came in such wagons without any facility like toilets, like water, like men's like kind of separation, partition for men and for women. So a lot of Koreans, of course, have died, and a lot of Koreans have died after this has been landed. So for Korea-Sarams, diasporic identity has been built based on this trauma. Yeah, so considering this and considering the multi-ethnical environmental, multicultural environmental of Kazakhstan, particularly, the diasporic identity of Korea-Sarams is a kind of composite of numerous identities based on a shared cultural heritage, and has a kind of mosaic character. So Korea-Sarams, Koreans were forced to preserve their ethnocultural identity, otherness, Koreanness, purity, but long-term coexisting and adaptation process to new social cultural conditions determines the process of acculturation and assimilation. For example, you can barely find any Korean, I mean Korea-Saram, in Kazakhstan or in Russia or in Uzbekistan with Korean names, first name. They have Korean surname, last name, but all of them, mostly 99% of them, have Russian names because of the Russian influence, the Russian culture, Russian education. So yeah, as you can see, there are a representative photo which shows that there are Koreans, Kazakh, Russian, Ukrainians. There are Chechens, kind of. This is maybe Moldovans. Yeah. So this multicultural environment has affected strongly on the formation of Koreans' identity. So to determine the feature of the diasporic identity, so I have conducted the survey, social survey, to understand what is the main features of so-called Koryo-Saramness, like Jewishness, Koreanness. Koryo-Saramness, there is a definition. It's a quality of being Koryo-Saram or of having characteristic regarded as typical Koryo-Saram. For Koryo-Sarams, for Koreans in Kazakhstan, genetic elements are very important. The factor of blood and the preservation of everyday culture, traditions, and customs. They distinguish themselves. Koreans in Kazakhstan distinguish themselves. Of course, they admit they are a part like this. Yeah, they are a part of Korean society community all over the world, but they are not equal to Koreans of the Republic of Korea, Koreans of DPRK, China's Koreans, and Japanese Koreans. So what I'm talking about that according, for example, there is Valery Khan, scientist. He also do a deep research of Koreans, but he is from Uzbekistan. He insists that the various ethnic groups became the flexible, and these factors had later for Koreans. It had largely positive psychological attitudes toward the ethnic diversity, flexible models of behavior in a multi-ethnic environment, which affected the formation of diasporic identity. So to repeat one more time again, the multi-ethnical environmental of Central Asia, of USSR in past and the CIS recently, are affecting continuously on the formation of diasporic identity of Koreans. So consequently, the diasporic identity of Koreans in Kazakhstan is a construct of various identities based on the singular cultural basis, cultural and genetic basis. So it could be said that there is a double identity, even there is a triple identity, or more complicated types of identity could be observed among the Koreans of Kazakhstan. So intangible heritage. Intangible heritage plays a very crucial role to preserve, to keep the Korean identity in its diasporic interpretation. For example, from in Far East, there was a state Choson Korean theater that has been moved to Kazakhstan. So there is still Korean theater in Kazakhstan. Of course, it is not called Choson, it's called just Korean theater. But some pieces are now playing in Korean, even in Korean, but not using the modern literature Korean language. They use their own language, which is called, it's a dialect, which is called not Hangumal, not Hangugo, it is called Koryo Mal. But actually it's called Koryo Mal. Yeah, there is distinctive language which Koryo-Saram in Central Asia, in Russia use. So another examples of intangible heritage is traditions. This is, the battery is died. I have another one. Just in case.
Actually, I have one too. This is actually the same. Can we use it for the video as well?
Nice.
We turned on.
Oh, thank you.
Should have one.
So this is the first 1 year birthday party for Koreans. It's very significant. As you can see, the mother is not Korean. Despite the mother is not Korean, they are still processing and keeping the traditions of 1 year. Especially all the ladies, and in opposite to old men, are gathering together every holiday, and they are singing Korean traditional songs. There is a kind of arirang. It's a common sing of Koreans, but there is another Koryo arirang besides Koreans of Central Asia. And this rooster, I don't know, maybe you know, maybe you don't know about this tradition, but this tradition is used when the how should I say? There is a Hansimari, which is called, the custom is practicing when, I forgot this word in English. Ambassadors of men came to a woman's house to ask her to marry. Yeah, I explained it, finally. I succeed. Yeah. Another examples of intangible heritage. As you can see, there is Koryo Indure Arirang, there is Choson Kukchang, now it is Korean theater in Kazakhstan. There is a tradition to gather together every holiday, especially among elders, and it's not intangible, it's kind of tangible heritage, but in every market you can meet Korean ladies selling Korean salads, but it is not original Koreans, it's kind of localized to Kazakhstan environment, Korean salads. And here this book is, the name is in Russian, but it is written family traditions and the customs of Koreans residing in Kazakhstan, published in 1992. So it shows that despite all Koreans, especially in Central Asia, are considering themselves as a part of Korean society of CIS, because all of them are Koryo-Sarams, but they simultaneously, they consider themselves as a part, they consider themselves as a kind of separate group of Koreans of Kazakhstan. Yeah. So regarding my research, I tried to conduct online close type social research, and some questions I rose. There are criteria by which the Koryo-Saram Koreans perceive themselves to be Korean and Koryo-Sarams. The second was the attitude of Koryo-Sarams to their ethnicity. What do they think about their ethnicity? The third, degree of feeling similarity or distinctiveness between Koreans of Kazakhstan and Koreans of the Republic of Korea. Third, the same questions, but regarding the Koreans of Kazakhstan and other Koreans of CIS. The fifth one is the degree of practicing Korean traditions. Intangible heritage. Sixth one is Koryo-Saram's attitudes toward inter-ethnic marriages. Through this question, through this question, I tried to measuring the degree of assimilation, acculturation of Koreans in Kazakhstan. And the sixth one, I tried to define the features of the Koryo-Saramness, Koreanness. So let's go. Just wondering if you want to ask something or you want to take a break for 1 minute. No questions? Okay. So
it is the recent situation,
yeah, it's recent situation. I try to define, to make a kind of research, because my thesis is devoted to the paradigm of various types of identities observed among the diaspora. There are three basic identities which could be observed among the diaspora members. First one is blood, ethnic identity. The second one is the passport. It means the national identity. And the third one is the diasporic identity. How do these three types of identities cooperate or influence on each other, and what is the final goal these three identities will lead the diaspora to? So I tried to define, to find out what is the main features, factors that determine Koreans as Koreans. Of course, as I thought, the first one is genetic or factor of blood. It is the main factor considering the most important for Koreans to determine them they as Koreans. The second is appearance. So phenotype, their face is very important, because if you're other people from outside do not recognize you as Korean, so it influences on your recognition of yourself. The second one is appearance, and the third one is a mentality. So Koreans in Central Asia believe they have some special, distinct mentality, which is different from mentality of indigenous people of Kazakhstan, mentality of Russians, of other minority, and mentality of Koreans in all over the world and in Korea. The interesting thing that I have found that let's remember that in previous slides I have shown that according to some scientists, the language is a very important factor influencing on diaspora formation, diaspora maintenance, and consequently on the diasporic identity. But in case of Koreans of Kazakhstan, the language, Koreomar, the language of Koreans is not important for them to determine themselves as Koreans. So to be honest, recently a lot of Koreans are studying Korean, but it is not their historical Korean language. It is not Koreomar, it is modern literature Korean, Hangulmal. So for them, their Koreomar is not important factor which defines them as Koreans. The second one, so their attitude to their identity. Are they proud of being Korean, or are they ashamed of being Korean, or it doesn't matter for them wherever they are Koreans or not? So the vast majority, almost 3/4 of them, are proud of being Korean, and other 20, let's say 25% of them don't care about what diasporic group they belong to. I assume that this group of people, this group of people's mind is affected by high level of acculturation. So for them, they doesn't matter who they are by their ethnicity, but why a vast majority of Koreosarams are proud of being Koreans? Because of what? Because of, why do you think, why? What do you think, why? May I ask you? yeah, factor of South Korea. There are high positive image of their homeland. One. Second is a kind of specific feature of Kazakhstan Koreans. So in Kazakhstan, Koreans are, we should admit, Koreans are very successful group of people. For example, this is Forbes list, the richest person in Kazakhstan 2021. So as you can notice, first place, second place, wow, 25th, 23rd, etc., etc. So among 50 peoples, 50 richest person in Kazakhstan, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 peoples are Korean ethnicity. So the hetero stereotypes of Koreans are very positive. As well, there are a lot of famous peoples of Korean origin, of Korean ethnicity in Kazakhstan. This is Denis Ten. His the Russian pronunciation of his surname, second name is Ten, Korean is Jong. This is Anatoly Tsoi, like Victor Tsoi, Che. Yeah, he is famous, quite famous singer in Russia, but he is originally from Kazakhstan. This is, maybe you don't know, this is Korean famous magician called Yuri Pya. In Russia, in Korean, Be. This is former president of Kazakhstan. Yeah, the first president. And this one, I think you know, Triple G. Don't you know, boxer? Wow. Everybody in Kazakhstan knows him because he is from Kazakhstan. You can Google Triple G. He is quite famous boxer. Despite he does not look like Korean, and his second name is not Korean. Triple G, why Triple G? Because his family name is G Golovkin. His name is G Gennady, and his father name is also G. That's why Triple G. Despite his family name, his second name is not Korean, but he is half Korean. His mother is Korean. And every time speaking about his ethnicity, he speaks like this. I am Korean, I am Russian, and I am Kazakh. Of course, it could be a result of some political issues, but he never denies that he is Korean, half Korean. So the stereotypes about Koreans are very positive. So it is cool to be Korean in Kazakhstan. It is cool to have Korean friend. Yeah, so next one. The next question, I try to understand to what degree Koreans in Kazakhstan feel the similarity between Koreans of Kazakhstan and Koreans of the Republic of Korea. There are a lot of sports, and you can see the group of sports here in the middle. So it calls mode. Mode, it's a very common value in statistics, and the mode is the mostly frequent answer is the 50. So 100 is totally same, 0 is totally different. So 50, it means that Koreans in Kazakhstan thinks they are not so far and not so close to Koreans of the Republic of Korea. But the average value is 45. It shows that Koreans are feeling them rather more different from Korean of the Republic of Korea. So next one, degree of feeling the similarity between the Koreans of Kazakhstan and Koreans of other CIS country. So through this question, I tried to understand, do the Koreans of Kazakhstan feel themselves as a part of Korean society all over the CIS, or do they feel them as a kind of distinct community? Almost half of them, more than half of them, as you can see, insist that they are different from Koreans in Uzbekistan, Uzbekistan, Russia, or maybe Ukraine, maybe where Koreans do live else. So 10%, almost 10% insist that there is significant difference, and other 40% are insisting that there is a difference. So it advocates that Koreans of Kazakhstan are perceiving themselves as a kind of separate, distinctive group of Koreans among Koreans of CIS and Central Asia. So the degree of observance of Koreans' traditions and customs, intangible, speaking one more time about intangible heritage, which helps Koreans to keep their identity. As you can see, 55 plus 30, let's say 5, it's around 90% in general who are keeping, processing Korean customs and traditions. More than half are keeping traditions as much as possible, and 1/3 of them are keeping traditions just selectively. So it means that the vast majority, this 35 plus this 55, vast majority of them are maintaining their identity through observing the Korean traditions. So what kind of traditions are important for you? There was a question. So as you can see, the most frequent 4 traditions are called Asenzi. It's a Koromar dialects word for 1 year birthday. In Korean, it is called Chottol, Tolchanchi. Yeah. The second one is Hwangabi. We Koreans call it Hwangabi, but it's Hwangab 60 years anniversary. The third one is funeral and other wakes. Especially, every autumn there is a Hansik holiday, but our Koreans in Kazakhstan, they call it Parents' Day, because on the Hansik, they go to cemetery and they do balls and they do cleaning, so they call it Parents' Day and wedding. So in Korea, there is a phenomenon of 3 or 4 tables. It means during the person life, person should give and receive one table he prepares for his parents when they are alive. One table he prepares for the parents after they died, and one table is being prepared for him at wedding ceremony. So lifestyle cycle traditions are very strongly observed in Korea Saram society of Kazakhstan. So here you can see some examples. This is a 60 years anniversary called Hwangabi in Russian style. Yeah, this is a wedding. This is bride. Then she first time comes to man's house. She has to step not on the land. She has to step on the bag full with rice. It means kind of prosperity in their new homes. 1 year celebration. This is Russian word mark, his name, and wedding. The pair makes kind of vow to their parents. Yes. So there are and the last one is the chesa or rakes in the parent dates. Every year in the parent dates, Koreans go to cemetery, they cleaning, they put food, they do bowls, and they keep this tradition. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 main tables. Yeah, tables in the life of Koryo Saram should be yes. The next question is also is connected to the daily culture, to the cuisine of Koryo Sarams. So the question was, how often do you cook the Koryo Saram cuisine at your home? And as you can notice, the 90, let's call it 90% practice almost every day on the regular basis cooking the Korean dishes. So it means they really observing traditions and they really following the cultural codes, not only just speaking about it. And 11% they also cooks, but not on the regular basis. But if we add plus 11 plus 88, it would be almost, oh, let's say 100%. Yes. Yeah. There are examples of localized Korean dishes. This and this one are similar dishes called kuksi or kuksu in literature Korean language. This one, maybe you don't know about this one, but this is a kind of mandu, wang mandu. Yeah, but this dish, his in Sakhalin, there is the same, let's say, bread with meat inside, and they call it pyanse. It's a dialect, but there is a word pyonsu, which describes this king mandu, king dumplings. Yes, and this one, maybe you don't know, but there is a dish called kjajang. The first word ke is a ke. You speak Korean a little bit, yes? You know about pets like cat and dog, and the ke is the second one. This, okay, next. Now you got it, yes? Yeah, so to understand the degree and the attitude, the degree of assimilation and acculturation of Koryo Sarams in Kazakhstan, there was a question. The attitude towards bi-ethnic, inter-ethnic, getter-ethnic marriages in general. It means not in personal, but in general. And in general, almost half, and let's add this one and this one. So almost 90% are indifferent and are okay with marriage to the representative of another ethnic groups. So for them, it doesn't matter who would be the spouse of Koreosarams, but only 12% answered that for them the factor of pure blood, the purity of blood, is important. But this question was the general attitude of Koreosarams regarding the marriages between Koreans and not Koreans. But going to the personal preference of spouse, there is the picture is a little bit different. So as you can see, yeah, like in previous positive attitude, and here the half of Koreans are okay if their personal partner, spouse will be not Korean, but half of them rather go marry with Koreans rather than not Koreans. So 1/4 prefers to get married with Koreans from Kazakhstan, maybe because of the similar mentality, similar cultural, because even Koreans in Kazakhstan and Koreans in Russia are different from each other. For example, my personal experience, even I speak Russian. For me, my mother language is Russian. I think mostly in Russian, and I think I'm Russian according to my. Seeming a little bit strange for me. I cannot understand their way of thinking. I cannot understand their behavior. I cannot understand their way of thinking. So I cannot understand their culture. So even we are the same Russians, we are different. So Koreans from Kazakhstan prefer to get married with Koreans from Kazakhstan. Koreans from CIS, okay, Kazakh Koreans agree to have a spouse from CIS. The portion is around 10%. Koreans from the Republic of Korea, I mean, Koreans who possessing the Korean passport, around 10% are ready, are willing to get married with Koreans, but I assume that this question is based on a lot of young Koreans they absorbed Korean culture, they learn Korean language, they are watching Korean dramas. So for them, it could be kind of dream to have a Korean wife or husband, and only 2% are willing to get married with Kazakh. So since in my survey, the objects was not only pure Koreans, there was half Koreans and 1/4 Koreans. I suppose that they are ready to get married with Kazakhs because one of their parents assumably was Kazakh. So responsibility. This word responsibility I highlighted previously, just for your reference. Yeah. Robin Cohen in 1990s stated that there should be a sense of co-responsibility with co-ethnics. So I decided to check, is there the same feeling of responsibility? Where is this? Yeah. Is there a kind of a feeling of responsibility for a positive image for a diaspora of Korea-Saram among Koreans of Kazakhstan? And yes, almost 3/4 of them, 3/4 of them are feeling they are responsible for their behavior. It means they have a high degree feel of belonging to the diaspora. So they are feeling belonging to the Korea-Saram's diaspora. Thus, they have a responsibility for a positive image of diaspora image. And 1/4 of them feel it is not obligatory, but they are not denying it at all. Only 4% of respondents have responded that it is not obligatory to feel any responsibility. So it is not obligatory, mandatory to feel any feel of belonging to diaspora. So for now, it is still quite high. 23 plus 71 is, let's say, 95. Yes, let's say 95. A very high degree of feeling of belonging to diaspora among the Koreans of Kazakhstan. And what is the main characteristics of Korea-Saram of Korean diaspora? Let's say the most important feature for them is a kind of historical destiny. Yes, I tried to distinguish the certain fact, phenomenon, trauma of force movement to Kazakhstan. Maybe young generation is not very aware with this trauma, but for them, they believe they have some kind of collective historical memory, historical faith. This is the,
I'm sorry.
yeah.
Does it mean they feel they are calling from Kazakhstan?
They are feeling, as far as I understood this answer, they are feeling that they have some certain distinctive history which brought him to Kazakhstan. Yes, that's why they are feeling them as a part of Kazakhstan. Yes. The second one, important, yellow. The symbiosis of different cultures, since they grew up in the multicultural, multi-ethnic environmental. For them, having the multicultural mind is a kind of their distinctive feature. Yes, because minorities like Koreans or Russians in Central Asia, I have said before, they are not the same with the co-ethnics from the motherland. So they admit they are Russians. They admit they are Koreans. They admit they are Armenians. By simultaneously, they consider themselves Uzbeks, Kazakhs, and of course, Russians, because they think in Russian, because they speak in Russian, because they graduated school in Russian. So at least in Kazakhstan, they have three cultural codes which cooperating simultaneously in the constructing of personal identity. The genetic code, ethnic code, the code of indigenous peoples Kazakh, for example, Kazakh, and the code of Russians because of the influence of Russian culture. The identity of Korea Saram. So they believe they are Korea Saram. They are not only Koreans, they are Korea Sarams, and they have their distinctive history of Korea Sarams. And the dialect language aka Koreomar. I have introduced about Koreomar previously. The interesting thing, is the Koreans in Kazakhstan or here in Central Asia do not speak Koreomar very well. Maybe aged grandmothers and grandfathers do, but younger generation do not speak. Despite this, they believe that Koreomar is a feature of Koryo Saram. So next one. And the last question I gave to my friends and not friends, Koreans, is who you are. Are you only Korean? Are you not Korean? Do you consider yourself Koryo Saram or not? This is to check the degree of assimilation and acculturation. So as you can see, 90% they consider themselves as Koryo Saram. So what does it mean? So it means for them that they are believing. Oh, is there a schedule? There is no 7 o'clock. I have 30 minutes more. I have 30 minutes more.
No, we should finish at 7 o'clock.
What time is it?
7 o'clock.
It's only there is no watches in front of me. I just lost my yeah, this is the last page I have prepared. So findings and conclusion I have reached through my research. So there is still extremely high level of positive ethnic identity among the Koreans, and there is a relatively high level of integration into the multi-ethnic society of Kazakhstan, as well as tolerance toward the other ethnic groups due to the multicultural environment of Kazakhstan. Of course, I can argue, I can insist that they have their own distinctive or diasporic identity as a Koryo Saram of Kazakhstan, and they have a high level of diaspora belonging. And what are the main factors of supporting Koryo Sarams? Is the genetic factor, the principle of pure blood, and the preservation of ritual and daily culture, so-called intangible heritage. But now it is observed that the heteroethnic marriages are going to be increased because of a small number of population. We cannot escape from this phenomenon. So there is a count of worry that possibility that the ethnic identity and as a result the diasporic identity could be weakening, and in future maybe in 5 or 6 maybe later in generation, who knows what would happen with Koryo Saram diaspora of Kazakhstan. Thank you very much.
can leave some time for questions if there are any questions.
I
Next question
hope.
will be from 15 or 7:15, so I think we can give it a few more minutes. If you
Yeah.
have any questions.
I hope you learn something new for yourself, and it would inspire you maybe to some extent. The interesting thing that my focus group is Koryo-saram, are Koreans, but actually you can, how should I say, you can project the same research on the other groups of minorities, even maybe here in Czechia, maybe in somewhere in Europe. So I hope to receive 1 or 2 questions because of limit of time.
I'm just interested in if you can maybe compare different diasporas, if there is maybe some like very distinguishing thing for the Kazakhstan diaspora. For example, if there are more feel like they more are a part of the diaspora than other diasporas. If I'm making sense.
You mean compare various Korean Sarams diasporas among each other?
Yes, for example, is there something very specific for the Korean diaspora in Kazakhstan that is maybe not so strong in other Korean diaspora?
Yeah, this is a very interesting and good question. Korean Sarams, Korean diaspora in Kazakhstan, Korean diaspora in Uzbekistan, and the biggest one is in Russia. So, and the 4th Korean diaspora, which lives in Sakhalin Island, but they are not Korean Sarams. They consider themselves as Koreans, but they are not Korean Sarams. Is also Korean diaspora. So, yeah, I'm planning to conduct a sort of research, but being a part of Kazakhstan, me personally, for me, it is much more convenient to conduct on-site researchers, on-site studies. Remote researchers and remote studies have a lot of limitations. So it's a little bit difficult. So now, if I can find somebody from Russia or from Uzbekistan who has the same interests in the same field of academic field, it would be possible. But actually, frankly speaking, it is a bit difficult. Even there is a big diaspora in China. It is difficult for me to conduct the same survey because of connections and distance. I have to go there maybe next time. Yeah.
I think it was very interesting.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Maybe just a bit personal question.
Personal question.
When you were a kid, were you aware, how much were you aware of the existence of the Koryo-saram group in Kazakhstan? Did you have, or did you have any friends, or do you still have friends among the ethnic group? Things like that.
Regarding me personally, I am originally from Uzbekistan. I was born in last century. So I can buy cigarettes even looking my 2 digits in my passport, 19. So I'm more than 21. Yeah, I was born in USSR. I was born in Ukraine, and when I was a child, I moved to Uzbekistan, and I grew up in Uzbekistan. In Uzbekistan, there is a huge Korean diaspora, and I had Korean friends from my schoolhood. I had 3 or 4 Koreans in my school classroom. I had a lot of Koreans in university. I had a lot of Koreans living in my apartment. So I was very well aware of presenting of Korean diaspora. Of course, I did not know that there is compact Korean settlements around Tashkent, because there is settlements, let's say villages, where 90 or 80% are Koreans only. Yeah. You're welcome. Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much again.
Yeah.
for coming from Brazil.
Yeah, here is, oh my God.
Presentation.
Yeah.
Let's just do this one.
Yeah.
Process.
Here are my contacts, and if you are interested in materials, you can ask Professor Carolina. Yeah, he will share. And my personal appreciation to Professor Miriam, to Professor Carolina for giving me such an opportunity, such precise opportunity to share with you the results of my theses. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
No, wait, I'll stop the